Oh man, we got something big in the mail from ARRMA. I think all of you guys know what is inside this box. I'm just so excited to actually finally see what it's gonna be. It's really heavy, and I'm glad that they made me sign for it because I paid a lot of money for it, and it has a name right on the side of the box. So if my neighbors or delivery people know what ARRMA is, and hopefully they do, and if not, they should, they would want what's inside this box. So let's go ahead and open it up. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's a 5th scale. Wow, a 1/5 scale Kraton. Let me show you guys. I wasn't sure what the scale was gonna be. I knew it was gonna be big, an 8S probably, but a 5th scale Kraton. Let me just come around. I wanna look at the box, but I want you guys to be able to look at it too. Holy cow, that's awesome. Spektrum, it says right here, smart technology. Oh, we know what's gonna be in here. Wow, all right, let's do it. Let's get it out of here. All right, guys, so you see it here now. I wanted you to see my reaction when I first opened it. We're getting this a little bit before the announcement, so we don't know any of the details for it yet, but I'm gonna kind of explore those details with you guys. All right, guys, well, here it is. We've been asking for this thing for a long time. The 5th scale brushless speed monster truck from ARRMA, 55 plus miles per hour, 8S BLX, ready to run. If you look down at the very bottom corner, you can see that it has Spektrum smart technology in here, the Firma AVC control, so you do have a smart ESC and motor system in this truck, as well as a lot of other really cool stuff too. We are going to take a second to go around the box because you know what, there's a lot of stuff on here that we may not dig into inside the car when we open it up, so bear with me, guys. First things first, color options. Green and orange. I have the green one as denoted by this little sticker right here. At first I thought I had the orange one because it was an orange sticker, but it is the green one. Down here is the orange car. Looks equally as awesome as the green one. Comes down to what you like. I asked for green because I have a lot of green stuff in my arsenal, and I just love green, black, white, and you guys will see that in my vehicles. I'm going to swing it around to the other side. We'll zoom in here and get a little bit closer. All right, so the first thing that we're seeing here are the vehicle specs. What's included? It does have IC5 connectors that are EC5 compatible as well. The length is 29.92 inches or 760 millimeters. Height is 10.5 inches, just about 266 millimeters. Width is 23.70 inches or 602 millimeters. And the weight is going to be 24 pounds. It is a beast. And if we look down here at the bottom, we'll see the Spektrum stuff that it does have included. The 2.4 gigahertz 2E, the DX2E active, and the SR6100AT, which is the receiver here, which is a smart receiver, and it's got some extra little tech in there as well. Very nice system there. It does have a Spektrum S905 waterproof 40 kilogram per centimeter to centimeter servo, and it is a metal geared servo, so that's nice in here. 556 inches of torque at 7.4 volts, so that is going to be I think plenty good there. Metal gear, I like that. It has a 160 amp Firma Spektrum ESC in here. Smart technology, gives you temperature, battery readouts, all that, and you get more smart technology if you run their smart batteries as well. And it also has the Firma motor in here. It is a Firma 4685 1250 kV motor, and it is brushless. So you can see also down here they have listings for the App Store. You can get a little holder that'll mount on here that allow you to hold your phone up there to read from the app that's available in the Google Play Store or App Store. So really cool stuff that we're seeing here so far. We're going to spin around the rest of the box and see what else is included and offered. All right, so a couple things that they're showing here are the structural center brace. It's a dual brace system now, or there's actually three. One that goes all the way across the top, and then one from each side that come in down to the center brace here, right around the center diff case there. It does also have bracing panel on the body that mounts up there, sits on top of this center brace, plastic brace there, and then it's got the pillow ball suspension. But look at these shocks, man, these are huge. This is the 8S shock system. This is the 6S. So if you have a 6S, just imagine how much bigger that is in comparison, as well as the diffs here, the ring gear on them. Look at the size difference there, much bigger setup. So it does have all metal internal gears. They're showing you those here, as well as these full metal internals over here, as well as their aluminum motor mount and the hubs that they've got. They're anodized red that you see on things that are ARRMA. Flipping it around, it does show it completely set up here and how that shock tower works, the placement of everything. It does have the easy access waterproof electronics module, pulls right out of there with a few screws. Looks like about 5 of them. Sliding motor mount for quick motor removal, so that's great. That's really easy to access. 3-bolt sliding motor mount removal is what they say. Easy access front and rear diff. It is like 7 screws to pull that all out and get into it. That is awesomeness right there. And then it talks about the massive 20mm bore shocks that it has and the laser etched aluminum chassis. We'll see that in a little bit. But heavy duty drivetrain, durable steel drive shafts throughout, heavy duty dual spring servo saver. I can't wait to see what that looks like. It looks huge here in this picture. And then high downforce wing for better control. Looks really beefy from the box pictures, but let's take it out and let's see what it looks like in person, guys. Let's do it. I'm so pumped. Oh man, here it is, you guys, the Kraton 8S. Really big on the side here, nice sticker. Lets you know exactly what you're getting and what you're looking at. I love it. We do have some things we can go over really quick, like the controller, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is the DX2E by Spektrum, and it does have a plastic little wheel here. It has the throttle trim and steering trims, nice knobs right on the controller there. Your on-off switch, a bind button right there, and that bind button, there's also a button on the receiver in the truck, so if you do want to or need to rebind, you literally hold that on. When you turn it on, it'll go into bind mode. You don't need a bind plug anymore. You don't have to remember to bring one with you. You could just then hit this button, bind it up, or bind it to another controller if you so wish. It has your AVC controls on the front, is a little knob here. You dial this in for how much steering assist and throttle assist that you want for better control of the car. I do like it. I usually will put it somewhere around 25 to 30% just to help out a little bit if it's on really loose terrain. But a lot of times I want it to brake free. We'll just turn it all the way down to 0 and we'll just drive. These are driver's cars. They're so wide, you probably don't need it. But maybe if you're going for speed runs, it would be helpful. On the top, you do have a 3-position switch, which is your throttle limit. And I believe that goes from 50% to 70 to 100%. That is listed in your manual, so don't quote me on that, but I think that's what those are. And then you have another 3-position switch on the top, negative 100%, neutral, positive 100%, and that's going to be based on whatever you put that to in the car. But that's a quick look at it. It does have a removable piece here. This is their active one. You can put in a Bluetooth module, which we are going to do with this car. Since we are one of the first people to get this car, I thought I'd show you guys what the module is and give you a product number. It is the SPM6741 for your DX2E Active. It's a Bluetooth module, and this will allow you to put this piece in here, which is just 1 screw to remove this. Use that screw to put it back in, and you'll have Bluetooth abilities. So we're going to take this one out, and it's just going to drop out of there. And back this screw all the way out of here because we're going to need it. If you look in here, there's 3 little pins, and that's going to line up with this part here of the little receiver box, and we're just going to put this on in here and push it in, and then we're going to put our screw on and button it back up. So this does take 4 AA batteries. They go in the bottom here, and you'll be ready to power it on and get ready for driving. So let's look at what else comes with the vehicle here. Just really quickly go over the manual and the tools that do come in it. So here's what you get. You get a sticker pack, which they've got really awesome stickers and logos. So you'll want to hang on to that for putting on a bunch of stuff that you've got, your little water jugs and your refrigerators in your garage or on your car. This is the tech pack that comes with it. It is quick notes on little pieces and how to do the diff and all of that, your shocks, how they go together, exploded view, and it also tells you about some of the optional parts that you can get for it, like the optional sway bars. I did notice on the box this doesn't have sway bars, and it looks like these little pieces that come in here are going to be used to mount up the additional piece that you can buy to mount up sway bars on this car. So you want to hang on to this. Don't just throw these out because you don't know what they are. If you want to add the sway bars to it, you're going to want that. And then you have the bigger manual that's going to tell you how to drive the car, how to operate it, charging it safely, using the controller, all of that kind of stuff, how to program your ESC, which is helpful because you can change the brake strength, you can change motor rotation, reverse strength, the punch setting. A lot of people like to change the punch. Right now it's set at level 3, it can go up to level 5, and the brake strength is set at 37.5%. and it can go all the way up to 100%. So you can dial that in how you want and get the truck set up to be perfect for your driving style and taste. The last thing you get is this huge tool. Looks like this comes with 24mm hexes, but again, this doesn't have, we don't have the benefit of all of the tech specs and all that, the website. This is an early release to us to get some videos up and show you guys how they work. We did pay for them still, but they offered them early to us so they could have some videos showing them in use. These are on really, really tight. So we're going to go ahead and try and get this off of here. But these look like the 24mm is what I'm guessing, because that's also what runs on the 5T lineup by Losi. And so this is like the same kind of tool that comes with that. And so that's my guess, is that the hex size on this is going to match that of the 5T lineup. I'm going to try and get it off of here for you guys. See if we can't get a measurement on that. Boy, is it on there. Alrighty guys, so this is giving us that first look at the hex, and it is really big. You see my finger in here for kind of a size comparison. And yeah, we've got 24mm is what the hex size is on this. You also get a look at this carrier hub as well. Nice thick plastics on there. These pieces are about 8mm thick, and the arms at the kind of shorter parts are about 13, about 20 where it gets wider and it bevels down there, so that's nice. The shock shafts themselves, let's take a look at these as well. We're looking at about 5mm shock shafts on there, about 5.5 on the dog bones right here, which actually are like a CVD. They're dog bones going in. And then these upper arms are about 6.3. And so these are your turnbuckles, and they're a little bit thicker. In the back here, you can see while we're here where your sway bars would mount to. And so it does have the plastic piece here. It is empty. There's no sway bars in it, but you can see where they go. The fin mounts as well. Everything here in the back of the vehicle that we can see have nice thick plastic bracing. The diff casings here are the 4 screws, and then this top one, I think, that would pull that right off, get you right into that diff. I love it, how easy that is. The hinge pins area seems like it would work the same way for the most part as the smaller versions, but it does look like you'd have to remove these two as well to pull this off, as well as a couple screws on the bottom to get in here if you need to change out one of these beefy arms for whatever reason, if you were to break one or whatever. Hopefully, I mean, these look really durable. And so I say that, but I'm hoping that that's not something that we see. We haven't even looked inside the truck yet, guys. I don't know what I'm talking about here. We got distracted. But the tires, they do look really good. I've got one here in my hand. Nice plastic spokes. And these are D-Boot Copperhead tires. Copperhead 2 SB. And they've got really nice tread pattern on them. They look like they're going to hook up really nice. So I do like the look of these a lot. I did point out, if you look in the back of the wheel, so it is a plastic rim or wheel, but it does have a metal hex in here. So that should really help it with all the power it's going to be driving through these wheels. All right, so we're going to go ahead and quickly go around the truck and take a look at all of the different pieces. Already touched on the wheels because we kind of quickly got in there looking at the hexes on these. The outside of the truck, the paint job looks fantastic. The sticker decals they've got, the lights, the grill, all of it looks super tough. I love the look of it. It does have like the muffler, and it has a little bit of, you know, blackening here, like the smoke's been coming out of there. Overall, really good. I'm going to flip it up here in a second. Like so you guys can see the top here. Easier than getting the camera off, but something interesting is right here what they've got. So they've got nice logoing stickers all throughout: ARRMA, BLX, Spektrum, Horizon, Smart, D-Boots, all of that. But if you look here, instead of doing the savers for the body posts like on some of the other vehicles, first of all, I will say I feel that it's really rigid. It's got nice support. You can feel it hit so the body doesn't crush in. But right here is something new. It's kind of like a washer that's built in. They've molded it, and it's got a little eyelet here so that it'll sit. When we pop this off, it's going to stay on that chain. See that? So when we set it down, it's just going to dangle. It'd be easier to see with this top one. But that's going to save the body from breaking out at where the body posts are on hard hits and as it's moving around. So that's a really nice addition. They've done that in the front and in the rear. If I do slide it down, you can see that they did put rails on the top here to help protect the body if it's sliding on the top. And there's also going to be bracing we saw in the box inside. So we take off the rest of these because we do want to look inside the vehicle. Now would be a good time to do that. All right, so here's going to be the big reveal. I'm going to do it upright like this so you can see everything inside. There it is. That is the brains of this truck. Everything that makes it work, and boy does it look beefy. Before we do put this body down, we'll take a look inside and we'll say, don't just bash, blast. It's got the sticker, and you can see it does have that brace on the inside. Everything is backed in like a silver, and then it's actually got little stickers in here to prevent some of the wear along the chassis guards here that they've got on the side of this. So right on the top, the first thing that you see is this big red bar that's running through it, and that is a metal, looks like aluminum brace that goes through here. You can see it does have a little flexibility, and that will allow it to flex just a little bit, be able to rebound. They've gone and they've made a lot of this plastic. So the shock towers are plastic, which is going to allow it to have some give. And these are to keep this from bending the chassis too bad or from breaking your shock towers, all of that. And they've got secondary braces that go underneath at an angle, which you can see when we tilt the car like this. All right, so this truck is such a behemoth that we can barely get it in when I get in close enough to show you guys the interior shots of this truck. And so we'll have to be moving some things around as we do that. But the first things that we are seeing is it does have these plastic rails that go around the side, keep dirt and stuff from getting in here because your tires are out so wide that you'd be turning and throwing dirt here at the side. The body meets on this, keeps most of the junk out. Alrighty, here we go. Let's take a look inside of the vehicle itself at the electronics package, center diff, your motor, your heat sink, all of that right now. First, we're going to start with the Firma 1250 kV. This is your brushless motor system, and it is a large setup. It does have a fan, and the wires are nicely managed, tied along here using like heat shrink, and that then goes and plugs into the ESC right over here on this side, and that's where it's getting the power for the fan, which is nice. It also has a very large heat sink in here. ARRMA branded. I think we saw this in another Spektrum video, potentially in a Limitless. And so we had noticed that there was a large motor system. They said it was an unnamed 8S, but it had an ARRMA heatsink, and so that kind of caught our attention. And so this is all set up into a metal mount here that allows you to easily remove the motor sliding out. Spur gear is going to be underneath here, and then there's actually another post that drives to a smaller gear that then goes to the differential, which is tucked in right under here, and you have drive shafts. Here's one of them here, metal drive shafts, long metal drive shafts that run into the center diff, and then another one that goes out here to the front. So that's kind of the setup of the gearbox and all of that. Basically your power plant is right in here as far as your motor system and getting power out. This is where the power comes in and is then routed to your motor. And so we'll look at that in a second. It does have a cap pack, as you can see right here on the leads for the batteries, and these are IC5s, which are for smart batteries, but it can work with EC5s that aren't smart for other batteries if you want. And there are 2 hook and loop systems that are used to hold in your batteries on each side, so you can put 4S batteries on each side here. And I believe there is a center marking in this, so it looks like you could potentially take this back one and slide it further back because there are some holes on the bottom of the chassis that we'll see later that look like it would be allowed to let you move those. Your servo is tucked in underneath here. It's really hard to see even in person. It blends in, it's black, and so it kind of blends in with the case here. Let me see if I can't spin this. So underneath here is your Spektrum servo, and you can see it's attached to a really big servo saver here, which is interesting because it's actually got an extra brace that hits here. I'm going to set all this down a little bit. Try to get a little more light in there as well. There, you can see where it's sitting on the plastic of the rail here that goes around, and then it's this huge piece here that attaches, and inside of that are springs and all that, so it should be really beefy servo saver. And then underneath all of this is where we get into our receiver. So all of this pops out and you can then get underneath to the receiver, which we're not going to take apart right now to do, but it is underneath this electronics module. And again, we'll look at that at a later date when we go to rebind or bind to something else. All right, so let's take a quick look at the front bulkhead area, shock tower area, right up here in the front of the vehicle. You do have very plush suspension, really large shock springs and shocks themselves that are red anodized and threaded, so there's adjustability very easily right here. It does have a plastic shock tower, which is going to offer some flexibility to the truck and allow it to take quite a beating, I think. Again, in the front here, you see where you would have your sway bars. If you want to add those on, those are an extra piece, as well as the front bumper, which is very small. It doesn't stick out in front, protect a whole lot. In fact, it looks like it's tucked behind the wheels, so that's something to note. If you were to hit something straight on, your wheels would be the first to hit. If it was a wide enough object, that the wheels would be coming out in front and hitting, and not just this. If it's just a pole, you might get lucky and just hit that. But it doesn't offer very much protection for your arms. That's just something to note. You don't necessarily have to have that. I like the look of it without it. But these are coil over shocks. The springs are here on the outside with the plastic ring and the plastic caps on the it's got plastic retainers, which look nice. And what else we got? We do have a metal hinge pin kind of bracket in there, like a lot of their other cars have, which is just, I think it's anodized red from where I can see it here. You do have in the back here, hard to see, maybe, yeah, so from this side you can see right here, turnbuckles that are adjustable as well on both sides, and then your long, beefy drive shafts here, which look like they're CVD style. So yeah, I mean, that's the basic front, and the rear looks very similar to this. It does not have the adjustable turnbuckles that are for steering, but it does have its own adjustability with the turnbuckles back here that are metal kind of braces. Basically like your upper arms are metal and adjustable, where here you've got plastic upper arms in the front, and your turnbuckles for your steering are metal and adjustable. So that is the difference in the geometry there. And it is a pillow ball suspension up here for the steering. And lots of extra metal pieces there as well around that pillow ball setup. And also on the steering arms down at the bottom, there is a little bit. Let's see if I can get a good shot of it here from this side. So you can see it down here. There's just a bit of red. There's two pieces there as far as bracing that are made out of the aluminum as well. A little bit tough to shoot this truck because it's so big up here on the bench. Ugh, and it's so heavy. So I apologize if I'm all over the place with this video, guys. But I am really impressed with this thing. We looked at the fin earlier. We looked at some of the back end stuff of it earlier. What we haven't looked at yet is the engraved chassis. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Alrighty, so here is the underside of the chassis. You can see that it has these plastic braces in here that are going to be like skid plates to help protect the bottom and keep it from getting too gouged up. And so you've got that also here at the end points where your bumpers are. I guess you can call them bumpers, but they're just, it's very hard pieces of plastic to end cap the chassis. But you can see the laser etching with the ARRMA logo. Everything's countersunk. Here's that extra hole that I was kind of talking about that I think would be used for being able to move your battery tray from here to these two holes, which would just give you that much more room, almost another ½ an inch for a larger or longer battery for more capacity. You do have accessible screws here from the bottom where you can unscrew it, drop it, and then have it drop out. Because it is kind of, you can unscrew it there, but you've got to drive it down here to actually get it out if you wanted to. But yeah, so that's the underside of the car. I think I've covered most everything. Wow, guys, what can I say? It is finally here, and I am so excited, especially after looking this thing over with you. There's not all the spec stuff out for us right now, the people that are getting the early arrivals of this. And so, you know, I was literally going over it for the first time as we were doing this with the video and experiencing it with you. And I hope that I covered everything and I did it accurately to the best of my ability. And hopefully it's enjoyable to you guys. I went a little bit extra in depth because I was kind of experimenting and looking in and seeing what they've done here. And I really do think it's a remarkable vehicle, and I can't wait to get it out there and see how it performs. But with everything that they have in here and with the way that the rest of their trucks run, I think that this thing is going to be really, really killer. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did I do an adequate enough job showing this to you guys for the first time? What do you think? How did ARRMA do with this? Let us know in the comments. I think it's going to be pretty rad. We'll definitely get it out there and test it against some of the other stuff. I do have the Sen American Force Reaper. I do have the Traxxas X-Max. Now mine's 6S, so this will be a little bit more power than that. But we could maybe look at some of the handling and characteristics of it, because that is and has been one of my favorite trucks that I've had is the Traxxas X-Max. And so now we're looking at this. This is the size. This is bigger than the X-Max, wider, maybe not as tall, but it's a bigger amount of real estate that is taken up on the ground. They're calling this 1/5 scale, and that's what it's out for. That's what it's meant to compete with in the market, and so we can't wait to see how it does. But I'm really excited about it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. As always, give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. Let us know what you think in the comments. Subscribe if you aren't subscribed, because you know we got a lot more killer stuff coming for you guys. So thanks for tuning in. As always, have fun RCing. I know I'm going to. We'll catch you next time.